you hear me? Got the tape on. Mike, can you still hear both? But I can't hear you. Okay, right. I've been doing a lot of lectures, so don't want to lose my voice. Yeah.
Step away from the mic to test it.
Step away?
Yeah, way off.
Way off?
Yeah. Talking.
How about that?
I don't think it's working. Check the switch.
I want to use some of my materials here. How can I work that out? Is there too much of a feedback for you?
No, just check the switch. The green.
Now it's better?
Yeah.
Now it's on. It's a cool problem. Thanks a lot. First of all, thank you very much for showing up at this time. Some of you have been here for 2 days and you got another day to go. How many of you registered for the full 3 days? Okay, congratulations. I think you're very wise. I would have also. Again, to sit through speaker after speaker, I know this to be something else, but so far all the speakers that I have heard have something to say, so time must bear with that. I hope I will equally join those ranks of those who have something to say, and some of the things that I may say you will not like, but understand I'm not making this up and I'm not doing it. Some of the things I think I'll say you will like, because hopefully through all of this mess there may be a way out, but it's going to have to be extreme because we're in extreme circumstances. Let me give you a little bit of my background for some of you who know nothing about me. I've been in metaphysics, I say at metaphysics, for 40 years. I've had my own institution in Chicago for 33 years. I've taught at the college level as a professor. I've traveled, I guess, to over 300 different colleges and universities to lecture, traveled somewhat overseas, and the demand for my talents is growing. That is not egotistical. It's about time. I say that simply because what I address is way out. But the closer we get to the millennium, anyone never heard that word, millennium? Okay. If anyone has any doubts about what the millennium is, all right? Is the millennium next year, the next year, the next year, or the next year? Is it 2 years away, 1 year away, 3 years away, or 4 years away? Let me see how many say it's 4 years away. 4 years away, the millennium. How many say it's 3 years away? How many say it's 2 years away? How many say it's here? I agree with you, it's here. Now let me explain why I'm saying that. Because in the society that I live in, what is very interesting is that we're governed by electronics. If you say we're not governed by electronics, this took me 1 minute to get the mic straight, and if I didn't click on that switch, you wouldn't hear me as well. That machine back there, the video recorder, CRT, would not take down what I'm saying. And if any of you, and I won't ask of you how many have bank accounts, but if you do, you do have a bank account. If you have a telephone, if you have a radio, if you have a TV, if you have a car, if you have a computer, if you have a cell phone, if you have a microwave oven, if you have any of those things, you are governed by electronics. I want to question this. How many of you would give up any 5 of those things right now? All right, you're standing that sheet over there, and I want you to give them to me. Okay, now you said it. Wait a minute. Come on. You said you would give it up. Oh, you didn't say why, though, did you? You didn't say for what reason you would give it up. But you think you could live without it. You know that there are many people that would rather give up a person. That person now becomes ex-friend or ex-loved one than to give up any 3 of those things. And I want you to think about this too, solemnly. Think about it. If you had to give up television for 1 year, radio for 1 year, your computer for 1 year, and your bank account for 1 year, or you give up a person and keep them all for 1 year, how many really know how they vote? How many would take the person? Don't think it. How many would take that and let the person go and hope you meet them somewhere? Oh, come on, you're not being honest with me. You mean you would you keep the person and all those three things go? Huh? How many would do that? Keep the person and let all those three things go? How many would let those other three things stay and see the person in a year's time? Well, that's nice. I hope you stick with that. Because it means that you're favoring biology and biologicals and spirituality over technical and materialistic. But I don't think some of you told the truth. I hate to really see you take that test. I really would. I hate to see you take that test. You're going to probably find out, though, if that test was real, even though I made a joke of it, but that test is not real. There's so much I want to share with you, but like any subject, you have to have a beginning and a start. That's why the flyer, and if you didn't get the flyer, I've got, I don't know how many copies everywhere. It's simply called The Millennium Mess. Everybody got one of these? I'm saying that because you might want to contact me at the center or some of the staff members to schedule this lecture yourself. This doesn't begin to speak to the half of it. We're going to get into more than the half of it today. The idea is now that we use electronics just about for everything. And anytime you go to the bank and you make a deposit, anytime you get a stock certificate, that's what I was talking to the people across the way there again in Prime America, because they're in the money making. And you understand, and I asked the director one question. He's now said he's going to contact me. One question: what happens after you make the money? What happens after you get the dough, the loot, the money, the exchanges in your hand? Rich people, people that deal with thousands and millions of dollars, don't even deal with money. Simply because you put it in your pocket, how much can you put in your pocket? How many have ever really had 5 1,000 bills in their pocket anyway? How many have had 10 5,000 bills in their pocket? You just don't do that. They do in this society what is called electronic banking. Anyone have any idea that what electronic banking is? Can we see your hand? Know what electronic banking is? If you know all about electronic banking, would you raise your hand? How many use electronic banking? Is that interesting? That's not even half. That lets me know that the money you're dealing with does not run into the hundreds of thousands of dollars, because you have to use electronic banking. Every time you get a statement from the bank, and you expect it each month, and you expect it to correctly reflect the amount you have either in your checking account, or in your savings account, your business account, and if it doesn't balance, who gets very upset? You or the bank? You do. How many times have you caught the bank making an error on your statement book, your passbook, or whichever? How many times does the bank go, oh, okay, how many?
More than once.
More than once. Most people don't even read that statement. If they make 1 penny wrong, and they do that, let's just say, with 5 million depositors, how much money is that? Big figures. Come on. 1 penny. 5 million depositors. 50,000? Good, get better than that. Suppose they just did that. That means $50,000 went somewhere off that screen, off your statement, and whoever knows where it went, especially if it's done electronically, when they tap into that, they got $50,000 waiting for them. You know that they have people in jail now, but they're serving time, not with ankle bracelets. They're working for the CIA and other people because they told them how they did it. And then they put a stop on that to the computer so that they can't do it that way again. That's what you call real genius. 1 penny. I see people throw away pennies. People, in fact, now, people walk over pennies. 1 penny, 5 million accounts, $50,000. Now, let's just suppose that a mainframe computer, mainframe is these big computers that feed your CRTs and your little individual personal computers. Let's say that that computer made 1 mistake. 1 little mistake. And let's say that it just made 1 mistake for every 1,000 accounts of 1 penny. But it did it on and on and on. On the international banking scale, which means Europe, Asia, it means Africa, it means the Americas, it means Canada, it means wherever there are people earning money in whatever denomination their country has, All of those accounts are supposed to jive. What's also very interesting is that the world's international bankers, no matter what the currency of that country, depend on tabulations on an international computer to do what they call email accounts and cross-sectioning accounts. Everything now on this planet is working by a computer. If that computer begins to show an error of just 1% in all the transactions going on in this planet for 30 days, it will come down to $10 billion a day and grossing more, plus their earned interest on all of that. $10 billion a day if the computer made just 1% error for 30 days. Let's just suppose that that did happen, and the big businesses, international corporations, and as you know now, and we'll get into that too, all these corporations now are coming together. They're merging, they're conglomerates. Not by accident. People know exactly what time it is, even if they didn't give you the right watch. Let's just suppose that they heard about this 1% error possibility, and that there was no timetable in place by anybody who was brilliant enough to correct it. They didn't know how to correct this 1% error, and it was going on and on. Remember well these dates I'm giving you. October 1929. What does that remind some people of? Depression. Or what happened to the stock markets and the monetary funds and the international banking? Nothing there. $100 for a piece of candy. Go your nose. $1,000 bill. It was a valueless society. What happened in October 1987? A market crash. Begin to call it Blue Friday, Blue Monday, Purple Saturday. Whatever happened, and they gave it a color, and they said again that Black Friday was rough. What month is this? Watch the 29th of this month. That they know that this fool told you to watch the 29th of this month. You who have commodities, who have mutual funds, who have stock investments, who have pension plans or Social Security, watch very closely as they tease you with it on the 29th of this month. And by April of next year, make a decision what you're going to do, but you won't have any time after. Has to do with your money. Remember I told you this. Let's just say that the government bonds, Treasury bills again, which a lot of people say, well, that's the thing you really get with because it's the government behind it. What better way? Government bonds. And so, how many ever heard of government notes? Be honest now. How many heard of government bonds? T-bills. Some call it true bills. Yeah. Now, how many heard of government notes? How many have invested in government notes? Don't even know why, because it's the Federal Reserve Bank's only, and it's only 2 days out of the year, and they don't let everybody even know about it. If you don't have the right identification, you can't even buy it. That's the only thing that some of these rich people are investing in, but they tell you about T-bills and all this kind of thing. What's very interesting again, let's just say if all the banks found out about this 1% error in all of their transactions that wasn't going to get straightened out, and they said, well, we're going to close until it's straightened out because we stand chance of using too much money, plus our international investors are trying to keep their money at home, and so therefore we can't give you back money, and we're going to close the bank doors till it's all straightened out. Are you still with me? I'm going slow enough. Anybody not following this scenario yet? All right? If United States T-bills fell in value during that time, what would happen to the so-called liquidity, the ability to shift funds as the market rises and goes so you don't lose all your money in one day? That's if you've got appropriate investing for you. What happens again to the value of those so-called secure money market funds? Now, I don't know how much any of you are into stocks and stuff. Over across the way, they're very much into it. I said that to the director, kind of shook him up a little bit. Because The money market fund means mutual funds and funds that everybody pools their money to get, so you don't have to put in a whole lot. Maybe you put in $3,000, $5,000, and they invest it as the market fluctuates and give you back dividends on paper electronically. Let's just say that once that happened and they found out that the market was too heavily invested in United States T-bills, and they said, we're not going to honor T-bills, so that gets straightened out. That's for those of you who don't just keep it in the bank account. Keep on with the scenario, let's just say. Then let's just say that the United States T-bills fell in value. If that's the case with foreign banks, if you think that's not much, let Islamic people, all of those oil-rich countries, pull all their money out of the United States Bank, and then let it be followed by the Japanese people putting all of their money out of the United States Bank, and you would not see a stock market plunge. You would see the stock market doors closed shut, and you wouldn't be able to get anything from it. That means that our, and your, and my money is not controlled by citizens of the United States, but by whom? Foreign investors. Foreign investors, international bankers. And they tell you there's no such thing as international bankers. Well, yes, you'll find out very quickly when they pull their money out, or they say to your government, your president, your elected officials, even starting now with the mayor and the committee person, all the person, they tell you, nothing, baby. You don't run the bank, we do. And that's what they already say, because research this, what I'm going to tell you. They've had two stock market plunges, if you want to call it bad stock days, over the last 90 days, two of them. The Federal Reserve, that runs everything, a very nasty body, illegal and everything else, but they're doing it anyway. The Federal Reserve and Greenspan did not raise interest rates, which meant that the market did not fluctuate internally by the Federal Reserve or those people supposed to be guarding your money. But the market did what? Dropped. And then it inflated, it went up. And the Federal Reserve didn't do a daggone thing. It means that some other force is controlling your money. Now, if that really doesn't grab you yet, let's put it another way. How many of you have businesses? Okay, you expect your business to grow by having somebody to buy your goods from at a cheaper cost, a market somewhere, whether it's your home, electronically, or common, put that on the table and somebody pay you for it. Is that right? And you can raise the cost, but the initial buying must be low enough so that people can afford it. Right? Whatever business you have, it comes down to sales. No company is going to send you the initial goods that you're going to sell if they feel they cannot get a return, or if they don't have backers somewhere where they can go and invest and buy large amounts when the price is down and sell it when the price is up. Which means that even if your businesses are geared on that, you got a problem if you don't have a line of goods and prices that you can afford. How many of you, of course, work for people, or work for companies? You expect every week, every 2 weeks, or every month what? A paycheck, right? What happens if you go up there and the payroll master says, we don't have your check right now? How many of you have really gone through that before? What's that feeling you get? Real nice feeling, isn't it? You're ready to kind of do something nice, aren't you? And the only thing you want to know is, well, when will it be there, and is this going to happen again soon? And you start looking for another JOB, right? Well, let's suppose that all these JOBs all suddenly couldn't make their payrolls, couldn't borrow, couldn't invest, and couldn't sell the goods they had because nobody had the money to do it. And therefore, you're not going to get paid even though you just finished a 2-week period of work or a week's period of work. Does that finally make you identify? Can you understand that? You say, well, that can't happen, right? How many say it can't happen? Oh, you all know where we're... Oh, you say it can't happen.
It can.
Can happen. No, I said cannot happen. How many say it cannot happen? But definitely can happen. If the August 15th, 1997, what year is this? Stock market tumble, the second largest in recorded United States history, doubled and lasted for 7 days or more. What do you think would happen to your stock investment? And what do you think would happen to your business and your job? Still with me? All these dire paintings I'm making, huh? If the recently settled UPS strike were multiplied just 25%. And all the rail, most of the air, and the truck transportation deliveries were slowed down just 10%. What do you think would happen to businesses? And last but not least, if all the utilities and everything using electricity were all compromised on a worldwide basis at the same time, how would you and millions of others withdraw your monies from the bank or get your paychecks from the job? When you have solutions to those questions, understand that it's going to happen. It's going to happen. The point is, when? The Millennium Mess, the name of this presentation, I don't call it a lecture, we're going to cover too many topics. The Millennium Mess could very easily happen tomorrow, and unless technology zooms ahead 50 years, in 2 years' time, it will happen on December, 31st, 1999 at 11:59 p.m. Because at that time, the core, central computers all over the world and those manufactured in Japan and the United States will lose a binary agreement and will not register, and nothing you have in a bank will exist anymore. Nothing you have on stocks and paper will exist anymore. None of your computers will work anymore. Your businesses will fail. There will be no deliveries, and international bankers will begin to take over the United States, because now they will go to other monetary funds, because other things will be happening in the United States at the same time, because it's planned that way. Did you just hear what I said to you? Did I give you an exact update down to the minute? What more can I tell you? Now let's see now if I can back up what I said, and believe me when I tell you this, from this point on, I sincerely hope the Creator bless me that I'm wrong. I want them to do the right thing, and I want a genius to come up with a whole new system that the world will accept on a Western technology basis, because I just heard Brother Africa say again what happens when these people go crazy. Well, I happen to know what happens when my people go crazy. I've been attacked by a few of them who were crazy. People want money. People want goods. They want things. And if they don't want it for themselves, they want it for their loved ones. A mother is not going to see her baby cry for food. She doesn't want to see her mate starving and sick. She doesn't want to see her home, and that's when you really touch a mother. I don't care what line of business she's in. A woman wants a home somewhere and will have a home somewhere. Christ or armed guard come and throw her out, begin to bust out her windows and use her home for whatever. And men sure don't want to see it happen to their loved ones. And what do you think is going to happen when they turn all this stuff begins to hit with that? Another brother said the word, I say shirt without the iron, if you got ironed away. It's going to be a mess. And that mess very well happened December 31st, 1999 at 11:59 a.m. because the binary computers will not register 2000. They knew this when they were making these computers. But there was a big race to see what company, Microsoft or IBM or whoever, could get the mostest and get it out worldwide basis. They sold millions of them to Japan and Europe. They sold computers everywhere, and they put it in with that efficiency, and they were told by the researchers, the calculators, the geniuses, hey, this isn't right, don't put it online yet, and don't hook up those mainframes to do all these transactions on it. You know good and well, if you're a good computer hacker or on the website and so, you get all kind of information off that computer. People have made money now that they have never made before, because now you've got a machine to do what accountants and actuaries and controllers used to have to do, plus you can make sales and even have chat rooms. Go shopping in the mall right off your computer. Now, this thing's going to fail. You just paid for your living room set, your dining room set, your fur coat, your new car. Suddenly, your payment book and all the payments you made is wiped out, and they tell you you didn't pay it. For pookie money. You go back through your papers, maybe you had a flood, maybe it got lost, a dog chewed up a fire, you moved. If you can't prove it to the T, you owe it again. Or they come and do what? Take that goods. If they're planning this, they're going to do it anyway. But now they have a legal reason and means to do so. 2000 is 2000. It's entered as 00 on the binary mainframe components. They recognize 1900. They do not recognize 2000. There's not a thing they can do about it. Plus, these computers are all over the world, and the mainframe won't even feed into them. You think I'm really talking? Let me give you some more things for you computer hackers before we switch to more spiritual things. So this are to you. They will tell you some kind of foolishness that if you lose your hard drive on your little CRT or your little home computer, you can't pull it up with your software, and you say it's lost. Nothing that ever entered into any computer, whether it's in your home or office, is lost. You can't pull it up, but another computer can. Where did the figures go? Where electronically, microscopically in the air did those things go? I'm going to repeat that one more time. Did you hear what I said? How many want to repeat it one more time, or did you understand? How many have computers? How many understand basic computer lingo, or at least can understand what I'm going to tell you? Have you ever had your hard drive to crash, where your whole memory on your computer is lost? Have you ever heard it done? Have you ever been buying stuff at the store at the bank and they say, we certainly can't help you, the computer is down? You understand that, don't you? That's a funny feeling is too. Here you are with your goods on the table. They got your money registered. They say, we can't do anything. The computer's down. You know what they mean when they say the computer's down? Simply this. Electronically, on a little screen, they can't pull up transactions of any kind. Now imagine that multiplied with 1 trillion computers and 5 big computers they have on this planet. One of them is going to this underground. They wouldn't tell you where it is. It controls all of that. It loses nothing. It doesn't even lose time. It loses nothing. You lost it off your hard drive on your frame and in your software. They can pull it up once you enter it into it. If you ever put on your website number and join the beast, they got you. They know more about you than you do. You think you can get software and don't have to put it on hardware and cheat them. You ever ask how the software is made? Oh, we can have a little fun with this, but let's just move on from that. That's the beast, my friends. The big computer at Luxembourg, the one down in Australia where they think they're going to run to, the one underground which nobody knows where it is, the one in Japan. Those are controlling your lives. They control all your bank accounts and everything else. They control your payroll statements, and they know more about you than you know. And if you ever bought a car, had a social security number, anything else, they know more about you than you know. Another interesting thing about it, by having your number, they can add anything to your files they want to. They can even put it on your home screen and you pull it up and you don't even know how it got in there. Those are the experts that can do it. And once you put in your number, everybody's got that number if you're smart. But I got a guy who's smart enough to know how to do it. It just amazes me what he could do if he wanted to, if he wasn't spiritual. Did that blow by you? Or were you with me? I'm telling you that once you do electronic banking, anybody that understands that can infect or affect your life. They can infect your life and make you very sick. They need a computer virus. They can make you sick to the soul when all your bank account is gone or something's on there that you didn't enter into it and somebody traces it back to you. It might even be a dope transaction, a drug transaction, in paper with you having signed it on the computer. Traced back to your entry number on the website. We're living in a bestial technological world that if it went crazy would make people as mad as March hares. And they can't get any. Or they had too much. What a March hare will do. It can make you go nuts. Remember the date I gave you. Along with this, as we use these computers, as we use these microwave ovens, as we use these cell phones, as we use these television sets, as we use all of this, we're getting radiated. The doctor didn't have to tell you what could happen from these things that you're using. Didn't have to tell you what is happening not only to your melanin, but you're aging every day you use those daggone things. If you work in a computer room at an office building that's made of concrete and steel, with the air conditioners on top, the cable TVs on top, your water on top with water pipes coming into your favorite cooler, all of that is metal, all of that is radiated, and you're drinking radiated contaminated water and breathing radiated contaminated ionic air. You go to the bathroom now, what do they have in the newest ones? To make it sanitized, that's the lie they told you and you bought it. You don't touch anything, you rub your vibrations of heat, your heat sensor, and the water comes on. You don't flush the toilet, your stools and things are flushed when the water comes on. You're being radiated. You look into the CRT screen, you're being radiated. The little shields they have on there wouldn't stop one rat from getting into your body. All of those underground pipes coming into your room are underground water supply area, underground pipes for heating, gas, oil, water, all in metal. If you're in there, the same thing again, because it will not shield against some background radiation. You're drinking radiation. When you open up your faucet, you're drinking radiation. When you walk into the office building, if you can see it, it's pulsing and glowing. And we're downtown. This hotel right now is radiating. Boy, this gets better and better, Blair. I just love what you're saying, man. This is exactly what I came to hear. Sometimes, if you don't make people think, they pass you by as another lecture with no message and they do nothing. I want to scare you to death. All those things I'm doing to scare you with are true. Hear that. All these things I'm scaring you with are true. I wouldn't do this to you. But I'm a researcher and I'm a thorough one and I have help. People are telling everybody that the flu season is coming. That as you return to school now, your kids must be vaccinated and inoculated. Sometimes I can't get my lips right. Okay? And it's to stop hepatitis A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, herpes, simplex again, and to stop the common cold. You can know about getting a flu shot. Did you know that? You can go get a flu shot and you can fly. You missed that one. You're supposed to laugh at that. I thought that was kind of because you didn't think much of that. I made you so solemn you can't hear me now. All right. These shots, folks, are for purposes other than stopping the kids from getting sick. You're a fool if you're a mother and father and let your kids roll up repeatedly to get them. Take your stand now, you'll take it later. They're taking your children. They can't stop hepatitis A, B, C when they created forms of viruses to make it worse and then radiate you every day, and then you go out and buy all these sugar-coated Pop-Tarts that the kids are eating, and you drink the cow's milk, which is full of DES and radiation, and you eat the cheeses, and if the government gives it to you, you ought to reject it anyway, because you ought to know the strings attached. This time it's gut strings from the cow. I'm very serious. I'm as serious as a heart attack I hope never to have. I might get heart failure, but it won't be a heart attack.